Hello everyone and welcome to this week's sports podcast. I'm recording this late on Thursday evening as I need to be available tomorrow to do all my bets for Cheltenham, and we'll come on and talk to that in a moment, but we've got plenty to get through to talk about the forthcoming weekend of sport and also look back on what's happened in the past week since our last podcast. We'll start as always with the Premier League, and the race for the title certainly hotting up now after Liverpool have closed the gap to 1 point following a victory against Arsenal last night. They won 2-0 at the Emirates to close the gap to Manchester City on 1 point. Manchester City struggled against Crystal Palace somewhat on Monday. They didn't play badly, they just couldn't score. So basically ended up with a 0-0 draw at Palace, whereas Liverpool closed the game. Having beaten Brighton last weekend away in the Saturday lunchtime game, they managed to secure another 2-0 away victory against Arsenal this time, like I mentioned. Goals from Jota and Roberto Firmino, making it 2-0. Arsenal played well in the first half, but they had no cutting edge, and Liverpool moved it up a gear in the second half. An unfortunate error from Ramsdale, who probably should have saved the first goal, and slack marking by Gabriel for the second goal. But Liverpool were clearly the better team in the second half, and now they've closed the gap to 1 point at the top of the table. It's all on. They both played the same number of games. Liverpool have got a better goal difference, and now Liverpool have got the title in their own hands, basically, if they can beat Manchester City in the game when they face each other at the Etihad. I think it's the 10th of April, Sunday the 10th of April, just check that, but that's when I think it is. So yeah, very exciting at the top now. Chelsea, they had a narrow win against Newcastle, who've obviously shown lots of improved form recently. Although again, they went down to a defeat tonight against Everton. We'll come on to that in a moment for the bottom of the table. Arsenal have moved to 4th, even though they lost to Liverpool last night. They did actually win at the weekend 2-0 at home to Leicester. Manchester United, after their derby destruction by City, managed to beat Tottenham at home 3-2 at Old Trafford last Saturday. Tea time, a hat-trick from Ronaldo, winning them all 3 points there. West Ham are still in there after beating Villa 2-1 on Sunday in a quite dull game, but it's probably most notable for the winning goal scored by Ukrainian Andrei Yarmolenko, who's also scored the winning goal that took West Ham through to the next round of the Europa League tonight, and we'll come on to that again in a moment. So that's the highlights of what's going on at the top of the table. At the bottom, Leeds beat Norwich in a big game at Elland Road 2-1. Helps Leeds at crisis, ease the crisis a little bit. They're 16th on 26 points now. Everton, after losing at home to Wolves last Sunday, like I said, beat Newcastle tonight 1-0 against the odds somewhat. Down to 10 men for the last few minutes, and basically they came up with a 99th winner from Alex Iwobi, 1-0, so that puts on to 25 points. Has played 2 games less than Leeds, and the bottom 3, Watford won the last game. They won at Southampton last Sunday afternoon, so they've got 22. Burnley have slipped back into trouble after 3 successive defeats. They lost at Brentford last Saturday 2-0, 2 goals for Ivan Toney there. One was a penalty, and the other one was created by, which was, I think was won by Christian Eriksen, and he created the other goal as well. So Brentford are up to 30 points now and in 15th place. They probably feel quite safe at that point, but 30 points isn't enough yet, so we'll need a couple more wins at least, I would say. So that's where we are with the Premier League. This weekend we've got the quarter-finals of the FA Cup coming up. We've also got 3 or 4 Premier League games coming up as well. So the first of which is tomorrow evening, Friday evening, and that's Leeds. They're playing at Wolves on Friday night, so that's a big game again for Leeds. Wolves having won at Everton, the confidence is up. They're looking to get into Europe. I think they're 8th at the moment, so well clear of Villa in 9th, but they'll be looking to get into that top 6 to try and guarantee themselves a place in Europe next season. I think that's what they need to do. In terms of other games this weekend, we've got a game on Saturday lunchtime. We've got Aston Villa against Arsenal at Villa Park. So again, Arsenal will be looking to try and cement the place in the top 4, and Villa will be looking to close the gap to Wolves, I guess. I don't think they're going to finish any higher than 9th now, but they'll probably want to finish 9th or 10th to show an improvement on last season. But they have had a good run under Steven Gerrard. There's been a few wins, few defeats, but there's been plenty of good football, and obviously Philippe Coutinho's been a good spark for Villa since he's been there. So they're the games that Friday and Saturday. On Sunday we've got 2 more Premier League games. The first 2, the Wolves games on Sky Friday night, and the Saturday lunchtime game is on the BT Sport channel. Sunday, I'm not sure about Leicester City's the 2 o'clock game. Leicester and Brentford is the 2 o'clock game, I think. And then yes, that's right. In a 4:30 game is on Sky. Tottenham against West Ham. I'm not sure if Leicester's on TV, but certainly Tottenham against West Ham is. And then we've also got this weekend, we've got the FA Cup quarter-finals. So there's something to look forward to for you. Middlesbrough against Chelsea, it's 5:15. Saturday tea time. I believe that is on BBC. I'm not sure, but I think it's on BBC. I haven't checked which channel, but it's certainly live on TV. So that's something to look out for. We've also got in the FA Cup quarter-finals this weekend. We've against Crystal Palace against Everton. That's 12:30 Sunday. And then we've got the game between Southampton and Manchester City, also on Sunday at 3 p.m. And then the final quarter-final is between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, and that is at 6 p.m. So you've got to bear in mind that these games are also being fitted around the Premier League games and also the Six Nations Rugby, which we'll be talking about later, although they're on Saturday. All three of those games are on Saturday. So there are things to watch out for there as well. So plenty of action in various competitions. I'm just going to check now actually to see which channels those games are on for you. So just let me bear with me a second while I look those up. Because like I said, they are all on terrestrial TV, or all the FA Cup games. So let's just find out now. Here we go. So let's have a look. English football on TV. This is one bit I hadn't planned for. So let's have a look at this. Look at the FA Cup on TV. Here we go. Yeah, Middlesbrough's on BBC One, so I was right about that one. And then the Crystal Palace Everton game on Sunday lunchtime's on ITV. The Southampton Man City game's on BBC, and the Nottingham Forest against Liverpool game's on ITV. So 2 each is what I expected to see. It's exactly what's happening. Okay, so that's where we are with those games. In terms of European football, we've just come off the back of a very exciting midweek of European football, and I'm pleased to say that with the exception of Manchester United, who unfortunately bowed out after a 1-0 defeat at home to Atletico Madrid on Tuesday, the other three English teams are now into the last 8 of the Champions League. Chelsea coming through their second leg at Lille with a 2-1 victory on Tuesday night. We did fall behind to a penalty just before half-time. But they fought back well with a goal right on half-time actually from Christian Pulisic, pulling it back to what level scores. And then I think it was Azpilicueta who scored the winning goal just after the 70th minute to get this Chelsea team home and into the last 8. Obviously they've got other things going off the field at the moment which are concerns to them. But as far as I'm aware, they are able to carry on in the Champions League, and they've not been told otherwise. There's been mentioned today that there's a potential buyer who've offered more than £2 billion for the club, but whether that will be accepted by Roman Abramovich, I'm not sure, but we won't go into that here because that's not really what we're all about. So they're through. And then in the Europa League, tonight West Ham defeated Sevilla 2-1 in aggregate. They won 2-0 in the night after extra time, and the vital goal was scored in extra time by Ukrainian Andrei Yarmolenko. Showed quite clearly how emotional it was to him to score that goal. It meant, and obviously I'm sure it does. His family have had issues back in the Ukraine getting out, and I think some of them may be out now, but I'm not sure the exact situation. But you know, it meant so much to him, and it was a big night for West Ham, and they're through now. Sevilla, it's the first time they've lost to an English team in the Europa League, and they've won the tournament 6 times, so it's a great outcome for West Ham. Rangers lost on the night 2-1 in their game in the Europa League as well, and they're through. They won the first leg 3-0, 2-1 tonight, so 4-2 on aggregate. Slightly more comfortable than West Ham's game. And in the Europa Conference, Leicester's game were a real nail-biter. I watched most of the end of that game, and they're through as well. They came through after being beaten 2-1 tonight, but winning 3-2 again on aggregate after their 2-0 victory in the first leg at the King Power. So the draw for all the competitions are tomorrow, the European competitions tomorrow. Obviously in the Champions League we've got the 3 English teams. We've also got Benfica, who surprised Ajax. We've got Atletico Madrid, who beat Manchester United. We've also got Bayern Munich, who absolutely destroyed RB Salzburg after their first leg draw. We've also got Villarreal, who defeated Juventus surprisingly on Tuesday night with a 3-0 victory after being 0-0 for such a long time, and in the last 15 minutes he scored 3 times, including a penalty by Dan Juma, who used to play for Bournemouth. But it was Gerard Moreno's goal, the first one, which was the vital goal, which sort of like broke the camel's back, shall we say. Broke the camel's back, and that's what it did for Juventus there. So we've got some great teams through. And the other team I haven't mentioned, obviously Real Madrid, who put out PSG in that thriller last week. So be interested to see. It's an open draw at this stage. So it'll be interesting who the English teams draw. They could obviously draw each other, which is not really what we want. I think from a pure footballing perspective, I'd like to see a final of either Manchester City against Liverpool, or if not both of them get through, maybe Bayern Munich against one of those two teams. And not to discount Chelsea either, because they are the defending champions after all. So yeah, exciting times ahead in the Champions League. In the Europa League, there's still some good teams left in there. West Ham have got a chance of winning it, I'd say, but they've got teams like Lyon and Barcelona and Atalanta all still in the tournament as well. So and Red Bull Leipzig after their bye, getting through to the last 8. So yeah, and it's interesting to see how Leicester get on in the conference. They've put a lot of the eggs into this basket. They've put a lot of effort into it. I think they know that they're not going to get into Europe via the league positions this season, so they need to try and win the Europa Conference. So let's hope they can do that, and we can look at the draw next week once we know it's been made. So yeah, keep your eyes open for the draws being made tomorrow. I think the Champions League's draws in the morning, and the Europa League's draw is in the afternoon. So yeah, keep your eyes on media, social media, whichever outlets you use to get your information. Okay, moving away from Europe now, and we're going to talk about National League football. And FC Halifax Town have had 2 good results this weekend. They've got 3 home games this week, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, and they successfully came through the first 2 games to beat Dover last Saturday 2-1 at the Shea. And then on Tuesday night, scraped past Bromley 1-0 in a very tough and hard fought game. So Town are now up to 3rd place in the league, and they've passed Wrexham for time being, and they're right on the heels. They're level on points with Chesterfield with 2 games in hand. Still got ground to make up on Stockport, who had another victory midweek. They beat Notts County, I think it was 3-0 at home on Tuesday night. So if Town can win the game in hand, they'll be 4 points behind Stockport, and they played them the very last game of the season. So plenty going on there. In terms of Town, they've got Torquay, like I say, at home on Saturday, and then they've got a tough trip to Wrexham on Tuesday night. So certainly in a good position at the moment, but need to keep the momentum going. They've had some tough matches, and hopefully they can keep it going over the next week or so. They've got an away game at Kingsley that a week on Saturday as well, so they'd like to think they'd win that one. But they've got still quite a few home matches left. Some of them are tough, but they've certainly got confidence at the moment. I'd like to think they'll make the top 3. If they finish 4th or 5th even, they'll get a home tie for the playoffs, but if they can get 2nd or 3rd, they'll get a bye through the first round of the playoffs and get a home tie in what is effectively a 1-leg semi-final. So fingers crossed they can reach that position. Ultimately, we'd love to win it. I'm not sure we're good enough to win it, or whether we can actually catch Stockport. They've spent a lot of money on Stockport. They've got some really good players such as Sarcevic and Madden and Crosdale, and Palmer and Hogan as well. So they've got plenty of good players in there. So it'd be nice if we can catch them, but I'm not confident we can. I'd like to think we can, but who knows? We'll soon see. It's all going to pan out over the next, 8 weeks or so. Okay, moving on from football now, and we're going to talk about the Six Nations, because the Six Nations reaches its conclusion this weekend, and we're in a situation where France look like they're going to do a clean sweep. They've won 4 games so far, but they can be stopped if Ireland can beat Scotland on Saturday afternoon at 4:45, and then France get beaten by England in France on Saturday at 8 o'clock. So it's still open to some degree, because they've got a chance of beating France of Ireland, but obviously it'll hinge on how England perform in that last game at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. So obviously England can't win it, but I'm sure they'd rather Ireland win it than France. Well, that's what my personal point would be, but whether they see it the same way, I'm not too sure. But yeah, we'll see how that pans out as well. Again, you can watch all of those games on terrestrial TV. I haven't looked actually which channel they're on, but BBC and ITV are the 2 channels showing those games, and they're all on Saturday. Like I say, the kick-off times are we've got Wales and Italy first at 2:15, and Ireland Scotland is 4:45. and you've got France against England at 8 o'clock. So if you want to watch those, that is when they're on. Moving on now to Rugby League, and in the world of Rugby League, on the Super League to start with, we've had a game tonight, and the result of tonight's game was a victory for Wigan over Castleford. They beat them by 32 points to 22 at home, getting them back on the right track after a defeat. Saw their unbeaten start come to an end. They lost 28-0 last Saturday in France against Catalan. That tonight's game was possibly the biggest game of the weekend in the Super League. The rest of the fixtures are Catalans against Hull KR, so should I say, 7:30 tomorrow evening, and we've got Salford at home to Leeds Rhinos. That's on Sky, 8 p.m. And your Saturday games: Warrington against Wakefield, 12:30 p.m. Toulouse are at home to St Helens. That'll be an interesting one. 5 p.m. in France, and then Sunday afternoon you've got 3 o'clock kickoff. Hull FC against Huddersfield Giants. In the Championship, Halifax are on TV this week, and they've got a deal where they're allowing fans in for £10. Anybody under 16, it's free. Everybody else, £10 to get in. So if you're interested in watching Rugby League, never been before, and curious about how good it will be, and you want to see how your local team does, go and watch Halifax on Monday at the Shea at home to Leigh. It's on Premier Sports, so you might get yourself on TV as well. Other big games this weekend, well, the one that stands out in the Championship is Batley at home to Featherstone. That's 3 p.m. start on Sunday. They've both started the season very well and are going to be contenders for the title. Another game to keep an eye on will be York against Widnes at 3 p.m. On Sunday also. So that's where we are, Rugby League. Moving on from Rugby League now to cricket, and England's men's team will start with today. Currently on day 2, I've just finished day 2 of the second test in Barbados out in Bridgetown, and they've made a very good start to this game. After a draw in the first match, they managed to run up a nice score of 509 for 7 declared in their first innings. England won the toss, chose to bat. Zach Crawley was out for a duck. Alex Leigh stuck around for a good 3 hours, managed to get 30, so it was good to see him sticking around. But the main men for England were Joe Root, who scored 153, and Ben Stokes, who scored a fantastic 120. Good performance also from Dan Lawrence. Bit unlucky, maybe got a bit too confident last over of the first day and tried to hit Jason Holder for a third 4 in a row. Managed to, and then hold out straight to Craig Brathwaite. So he got 91. We had good contributions also from Chris Woakes for 41 and Ben Stokes for 33. In reply, the West Indies have more or less survived till the end of the second day. They're 71 for 1. They're well behind England, but it was great to see the Yorkshire debutant Matt Fisher take a test wicket with second ball in test cricket. There were some doubts about whether he was good enough to be in the team. There were a lot of people saying he shouldn't be in it because of his previous lack of any real history or first class form, but he took a wicket with second ball. Obviously we've got Saqib Mahmood as well making his debut. Both of them are in. I think Mahmood was going to be anyway because Mark Wood's injured, but also Craig Overton pulled up ill the night before, so that's why Fisher got his debut. So good luck to them. Hopefully England can win this test match and put themselves ahead in this series. I'll certainly be watching as much as I can of it over the next 2 or 3 days when time allows. Obviously Cheltenham's a priority at the moment, as I mentioned beforehand. In terms of Women's World Cup, England have won a game now. They lost the first 3 matches, but they've won the 4th match. They beat India by 4 wickets, so they still have an outside chance of qualifying for the last 4. South Africa have started the tournament really well. I think they've won 3 or 4 out of 4 so far. Australia unbeaten as well. New Zealand have lost 3, which is a bit of a surprise. West Indies and India still both in the mix as well, but it's going to be a struggle for England to get through to the next stage now, I would say. So let's see if it can win the last 2 and give them last 3 games, and see if it can give themselves a chance of getting through to the last 4 effectively. Right, so that's where we are in the world of cricket. This weekend, motorsport sort of returns, has quite a return. The Formula 1 motor racing season starts this weekend, and there is battle between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Starts up again. It's the first GP on Sunday, 1:30 p.m. in Bahrain. So something for all you Formula 1 fans to look forward to. Should be an exciting season, and I'll be commenting on the outcome of the race in next week's podcast. We've also got the start of the stock car season. which starts on Saturday night at Kings Lynn, the first Formula 1 meeting. I just want to wish Daniel Brook, who's a local Halifax lad, all the best. I think it's his first Formula 1 meeting. So good luck to him for that meeting. It's not a major meeting. First meeting tends to be more of a warm-up. The national points at stake, but there are no other real meanings to the meeting other than for the drivers to blow the cobwebs away. So whether the turnout of the top drivers will be like, I'm not sure. I looked at the booking list. I think there were 43 cars on the list. There were some notable names missing, but Frankie Wayman Jr. is amongst the drivers taking part, as is Paul Hines. So I'm sure some of your favourites will be there. So get yourself down to the Norfolk Arena if you can to support your favourite driver. We've also got the Speedway season starting this weekend. We've got the Josh Orty testimonial at Scunthorpe on Saturday. This is followed, that's at 5 PM on Saturday. Sunday at 4 PM we've got Lewis Kerr's testimonial, which is at Kings Lynn. And on Monday night we've got the Peter Craig Memorial Trophy at Bellevue in Manchester, the National Speedway Stadium. That's a 7:30 PM start. Great lineup there. Some of the top riders in the world, including Ty Wuffenden, Jason Doyle, Max Frick, Robert Lambert, Matty Zagar, a few of the Bellevue lads as well. So it should be a really good meeting. Should that, or Dan Bewley obviously is going to be. He's not riding for Bellevue this season, but he's a defending champion. It's a 6-rider final as well, which should prove to be very exciting. Last year it was a really interesting 6-rider final. Bewley won it fairly comfortably, but could scrap going on behind him for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. So yeah, it should be interesting. Should that. So yeah, they're getting underway this weekend. All those seasons in the motor sports. And then finally, what I want to talk about is tomorrow. It's the Cheltenham Gold Cup. The big race is at 3:30 in the afternoon, and we've got 3 horses that are probably in with the best shout of winning the Gold Cup. Galvin seems to be the horse that everybody's talking about. It's got good course and distance form. Always goes well at Cheltenham. He's a favourite at the moment. Ridden tomorrow by Davy Russell, and then we've got the defending champion Manila Indo, and we've got Aplutard ridden by Rachel Blackmore. They're the 3 horses that people are most expecting the winner to come from. If you're looking for an outsider, you've got previous winner Alboom Photo ridden by Paul Townend, and you've also got a couple of others in Protectorat and Royal Pagaille. So they're the 6 horses probably where the winner's going to come from. I think probably from the first 3. I think the conditions should be good, better than they were on Wednesday, which were appalling. Most of the big horses this weekend have been successful, with the exception of Shishkin, who pulled up in the Queen Mother Champion chase on Wednesday. The conditions just didn't suit him basically, so that's unfortunate. But Honeysuckle won her race on Tuesday, the Champion Hurdle, and today in the Ryanair Allaho won their race as well. So most of the favourites, the big favourites, have done okay really, to be fair. Like I say, the racing's been really good apart from Wednesday, which was pretty much ruined by the weather, but that happens, there's not much you can do about it really. But the sun's due to shine again tomorrow, I believe. It's been out today. It was some good racing today, some good exciting action. So something to look forward to tomorrow is the Gold Cup, and like I say, the meeting comes to an end tomorrow, and then it'll be on to the Grand National in 3 or 4 weeks time. So yeah, that's where we are with the sport this weekend. I hope you've all enjoyed watching as always, and I'll be back with an update again next weekend, hopefully probably on Friday next week. So until then, look after yourself, enjoy all the sporting action, and I'll see you again then. For now, bye.